for One Walker and he needs help from the helicopter heroes at 3 o'clock. First on BBC Two, who can keep their wits about them?
And the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £1,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Amanda. Let's play the weakest link. The first question is for £20. Start the clock. Amanda, in human biology, what T is the muscular organ situated in the floor of the mouth?
Tongue.
Correct. Keith, in the 2000 film Billy Elliot, does Billy train to become a footballer or a ballet dancer?
Ballet dancer.
Correct. Simon, a plant or animal in danger of extinction is described as an endangered what?
Species.
Correct. Elaine, what is the name given to the decoration of fabrics with needlework?
Embroidery.
Correct. John,
Bank.
in musical instruments, which is bigger, a viola or a violin?
A viola.
Correct. Stuart, what name is given to the mainly Hebrew and Aramaic manuscripts first discovered in a cave by shepherds in 1947?
Pass.
Dead Sea Scrolls. Anne, in Greek mythology, Medusa was one of the Gorgons whose gaze could turn men into what?
Stone.
Correct. Rena, in geography, which city is closer to Birmingham, Coventry or Leicester?
Coventry.
Correct. Tom, in religion, which Zed was the father of the apostles James and John?
Zebediah.
Correct. Zebedee. Amanda, in
Bank.
science, are halogens metallic or non-metallic?
Non-metallic.
Correct. Keith, actor Henry Fonda won an Oscar for his last movie role in which 1981 film?
On Golden Pond.
Correct. Simon, how many tiles are there in a standard mahjong set? 124, 134, 144?
124.
144. Elaine, in the USA, how many colonies adopted the Declaration of Independence in 1776? 10, 13, 13 correct. John, in food, what is the English name of the hard Italian cheese Parmigiano?
Parmesan.
Correct. Stuart, in music, the word amp is an abbreviation for which piece of electrical equipment?
Amplifier.
Correct. Anne, in literature, in which Jane Austen novel are Mr. and Mrs. Bennet major characters?
Jane Eyre.
Pride and Prejudice. Rena, which sea did the ancient Romans call Mare Nostrum, or our sea?
I don't know.
Mediterranean. Tom, according to the saying, does a red sky in the morning please or upset shepherds?
Upset.
Correct. Amanda, what type of animal is a crested titmus?
A bird.
Correct. Keith, in children's toys, what K is the name of one of Barbie the doll's boyfriends?
Ken.
Correct. Simon,
Bank.
which is the larger island, Trinidad or Tobago?
Trinidad.
Correct. Elaine, proverbially, he who pays the piper calls the what?
Tune.
Correct. John, in fashion, which Giorgio is an Italian fashion designer born in 1935 and renowned for his finely tailored suits?
I don't know.
Armani, Giorgio Armani. Stuart, in computing, what name is given to a three-dimensional interactive environment?
Hologram.
Virtual reality. Anne, which cruise liner was launched by Queen Elizabeth in September 1967?
Queen Elizabeth.
Correct. Queen Elizabeth II, the QE2. Rena, in 1977, John Travolta starred in which musical film with music by the Bee Gees?
Saturday Night Fever.
Correct. Tom, in public administration, what type of servant is an employee of the government that is paid by central government funds? Time's up. The correct answer is civil servant. And in that first round, with more time than you'll ever have in the future, you managed to bank only £400 of the £1,000 available. Who already looks unsuitable for the task ahead? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
After the first round, the strongest player is Amanda. The weakest link statistically is Anne. But at this early stage of the game, will the team have realised this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Anne.
Stuart. Stuart.
Rena.
Rena.
Anne.
John. Anne.
John.
Rena, you're a student, are you? What are you studying?
Journalism.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
glad we've got an expert on the programme. And why Anne?
Well, apart from me, I just think she got a few wrong.
Right, okay. Amanda, what's Anne done to upset you?
She got a couple of questions wrong,
Right,
and at this stage we need to get as much money as we can.
right, okay. Stuart, how was that for you, that round?
Not very good.
No, I'm glad you noticed. Did you think Anne was worse than you?
Probably not.
Well, she was, but not much. Statistically, in fact, Anne was the weakest link and the worst player. And with 3 votes, the team have voted you the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am very disappointed to have got out from the first round, but it is only a game in the end and somebody does have to go first, so this time it happened to be me. I'm really kicking myself over getting the Pride and Prejudice question wrong. I should have known that, and I did know that in fact, but under the pressure of the moment, I came out with completely the wrong answer, which was my downfall.
Round 2. You've won £400 so far. You could have won 1,000. 8 of you left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Amanda. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Amanda, which of these books did author L.P. Hartley write? Eustace and Hilda or Fly Fishing?
Eustace and Hilda.
Correct, Keith. What bee is the short stick used by the conductor of an orchestra to direct the players?
Baton.
Correct, Simon. A British steam engine set a new world record speed in July 1938. Was it the Mallard or the Drake?
The Mallard.
Correct, Elaine. In TV, Tony Warren created which soap opera first broadcast in 1960?
Coronation Street.
Correct, John.
Bank.
If the probability of a freak storm happening in a given year is 4/5, how many storms would you expect in 20 years?
Pass.
16. Stuart. In history, in what year was the Riot Act passed by the British Parliament due to the Jacobite disturbances, 1715 or 1815?
1715.
Correct, Rena. In the animal kingdom, what G is a small tree-dwelling ape with long arms, native to the forests of Southeast Asia?
Gorilla.
Gibbon. Tom. On what British island would you find the town of Cowes?
Isle of Wight.
Correct. Amanda, when referring to the power of a car's engine, for what do the letters HP stand?
Horsepower.
Correct, Keith. In which year did ITV begin broadcasting, 1955 or 1962?
1962.
1955. Simon, in nature, do conifer trees have separate male and female cones?
No.
Yes. Elaine, what US city was the original capital of America, Boston or Philadelphia?
Philadelphia.
Correct, John. Which English city was originally a Roman outpost called Mancunium?
Manchester.
Correct, Stuart. In the title of a Shakespeare play, how many gentlemen Verona are there?
2.
Correct, Rena. Sean Connery and Ursula Andress appeared in which Bond film together?
Octopussy.
Dr. No. Tom. In the animal kingdom, which M is a member of the stoat family, which is farmed for its thick fur?
Pink.
Correct. Amanda, which of the famous Collins sisters has dated Warren Beatty, Joan or Jackie?
Joan.
Correct, Keith. In nature, is the giant puffball a fungus or a sea anemone?
Sea anemone.
Fungus. Simon, what A is the main vegetable ingredient of moussaka?
Aubergine.
Correct, Elaine. In music, the 1957 UK #1 hit That'll Be the Day was sung by which rock and roll singer?
Pass.
Buddy Holly. John, in geography, what sea is the word used to describe a man-made waterway either for transport or irrigation?
A canal.
Correct, Stuart. What is the common name for a type of beetle red with black spots that is an important destroyer of aphids?
Colorado.
Ladybird. Rena, in nature, which pea is the coloured part of the flower which attracts insects?
I don't know.
Petal. Tom, in science, which produces a greater magnification, a light microscope or an electron microscope?
Electron.
Correct. Amanda.
Bank.
Did Hannibal and his elephants cross the Alps in AD or BC? Time is up. The correct answer was BC, and you are going down the drain very fast. You only managed to bank £220 in that round. Who is now past their best? Who have you seen enough of? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the second time, Amanda is the strongest player statistically. Having got all her questions wrong, Rena is the weakest link. But will the voting reflect the facts?
Thinking over it, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Stuart.
Rena.
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 Keith.
Rena.
Keith, why Rena?
She was the only one that got 3 wrong, so she was the weakest link. She had to go. Afraid.
How's it going for you, Simon?
Not fantastically well, but slightly better than Rena.
Right. John,
Hmm.
don't like Rena?
I've got nothing against Rena. I just noticed her get a couple wrong.
Okay. Rena, you're ideally suited for journalism since your lack of knowledge is so spectacular. Statistically, you were the worst player, and with 6 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
Playing the game is really, really horrible. It's so nerve-wracking and everyone's just in it for themselves. I think maybe Stuart might be voted off next because, like myself, he keeps getting some really difficult questions. He's getting some really hard ones like I did.
Round 3, you could have won £2,000 by now. You've actually only got 620 in your bank. You are down to 7 players. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Amanda. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Amanda, in TV, on which US sitcom did Richie Cunningham and Potsy Weber meet in Arnold's Diner?
Happy Days.
Correct. Keith, does the Pacific Ocean lie off the east or the west coast of Australia?
East.
Correct. Simon, if the length of a rectangle is 6 centimetres and the width is 4, what do all the sides add up to?
20.
Correct. Elaine, in the animal kingdom, how many species of flying lemur are there? 1, 2 or 4?
4.
2. John, which ex-member of the pop group Yazoo went on to release the song That Old Devil Called Love?
Don't know.
Alison Moyes. Stuart, which Eastern European city is home to the Strahov Monastery and the Charles Bridge?
Pass.
Prague. Tom, in athletics, does Jamaican sprinter Merlene Ottey hold an Olympic record for winning the most bronze medals or the most silver?
Silver.
No, most bronze. Amanda, according to the title of the novel by the American novelist Nathaniel Hawthorne, what colour was the letter?
Purple.
Scarlet. Keith, with which form of entertainment are the names Barnum and Bailey most associated?
Circus.
Correct. Simon, in the animal kingdom, what H is a burrowing rodent with a short tail and large cheek pouches, native to Europe and North Asia?
Pass.
Hamster. Elaine, the river Ganges in India is sacred bathing place for pilgrims of which religion?
Hindu.
Correct. John, the action of the 1986 film Platoon was set during which conflict?
I don't know.
The Vietnam War. Stuart, what is the name given to the salted roe of a large fish, usually the sturgeon, eaten as a delicacy?
Caviar.
Correct. Tom, in humans, does an antibody defend against infection or help digestion?
Defends against infection.
Correct. Amanda.
Bank.
Monza and Silverstone are venues for which sport?
Grand Prix.
Motor
Boat
racing.
racing.
Correct. Keith, what is the BBC's dedicated news channel called in the UK?
News 24.
Correct. Simon, in science, the name of which common atmospheric gas means acid producer in Greek?
Neon.
Oxygen. Elaine, was Tony Blair's father a councillor for the Conservative or Labour Party?
Conservative.
Correct. John, in an orchestra, what is the largest and lowest pitched of the bowstring instruments?
The double bass.
Correct. Stuart,
Bank.
which Norfolk town stands on the Great Ouse near where it enters the Wash?
Pass.
King's Lynn. Tom, in cooking, a kitchen utensil used to slice vegetables is known as what? A banjo or a mandolin?
Mandolin.
Correct. Amanda, which spinach-eating cartoon sailor first appeared in the comic book Thimble Theatre in 1929? Time up. And what a dreadful round that was. You managed to put in your kitty just £100. Who, frankly, is not in the same league as the rest of the team? Get rid of the dead wood. It's time to vote on the weakest link.
Keith is now the strongest player, having answered all his questions correctly. Statistically, the weakest link is Simon, but will the voting follow the facts?
Voting voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
John.
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 Simon.
Elaine.
Simon.
Simon.
Right, team, we have a tie. John and Simon, 3 votes each. John, what do you do for a living?
I'm a parson.
It's puzzling then that you've never heard of a song, That Old Devil Called Love.
I've heard of it. Couldn't tell you who sang it.
Simon,
Yes.
how do you think you did in that round?
Terribly.
How terribly?
Very badly. Probably the weakest link, I should think.
Statistically, that's certainly true. Why did you vote for John?
He got as many wrong as I did, I believe.
Right. Keith, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Now, you voted for John. Do you want to change your vote? You can have either John or Simon.
No, I'm sorry, I'll stick with John.
Right. Keith has decided. John, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel a bit hard done by that they voted me off. I think I was worth my place in the side and somebody had done worse. The thing I'll be kicking myself about is the way I voted in the last round. I made the wrong choice. I should have voted for Simon. That would have kept me in.
Round 4, the £720 in the bank out of potential prize money of £3,000. 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Keith. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Keith, complete the title of this 1943 novel by French author Simone de Beauvoir. She came to what?
Conquer.
Stay. Simon. In the animal kingdom, can hippos swim?
No.
Yes. Elaine. In TV, Jimmy Savile presented which 1970s programme helping to make children's dreams come true?
Pass.
Jim will fix it. Stuart. In which year did the French Revolution begin, 1779 or 1789?
1779.
1789. Tom. Which English city is at the mouth of the River Wear?
Gateshead.
Sunderland. Amanda, in sport, is the distance of the London Marathon just under or just over 26 miles?
Just over.
Correct. Keith, what is the medical term for German measles?
Rubella.
Correct. Simon, if you stand at the equator facing north before noon, is your shadow to your left or right?
Right.
Left. Elaine, for what do the letters PLC stand when placed after a company name?
Public Limited Company.
Correct. Stuart, acrophobia is a fear of what?
Spiders.
Heights. Tom, in theatre, what word means a collection of plays in production at one theatre in the same season?
Don't know.
Repertory. Amanda, according to the Bohr theory of the atom, how many electrons can the first shell of an atom hold?
2.
Correct. Keith, in the Bible, which M was Noah's grandfather?
Moses.
Methuselah. Simon, in music, An Innocent Man and River of Dreams were albums made by which American singer and songwriter?
Garth Brooks.
Billy Joel. Elaine, what P is a sport played at Cowdray Park?
Polo.
Correct. Stuart, in which decade did the space probes Viking 1 and Viking 2 first analyse the surface of the planet Mars?
60s.
70s. Tom, how many Great Pyramids are situated at Giza, Egypt, 2 or 3?
3.
Correct. Amanda, in biology, what D is located at the bottom of the lungs and controls the movement of air?
Diaphragm.
Correct. Keith,
Bank.
pop star and actress Courtney Love was married to which member of the group Nirvana?
Pass.
Kurt Cobain. Simon, which thriller writer wrote jockey Lester Pickett's official biography?
Don't know.
Dick Francis. Elaine, in what year was a regular airmail service introduced in the USA, 1908 or 1918?
1918.
Correct. Stuart, in
Bank.
nature, the damselfly is a smaller relative of which colourful insect?
Dragonfly.
Correct. Tom, what R was the name given to the payments which the 1990 Treaty of Versailles stipulated Germany must pay to the Allies?
Retribution.
Reparations. Time is up, and after all that time, you managed to bank an embarrassingly low £70. Which one of you is more than due for the elbow? Who has lost the plot? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the third time, Amanda is the strongest link. And for the second time, the weakest link is Simon. Can he survive another vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Simon.
Simon.
Tom.
Simon.
Simon. Simon.
Just to remind the entire team that you were rubbish in the last round. You banked only £70. It's puzzling why any of you bothered to come here today. Tom, why Simon?
He got all his questions wrong and he was inconsistent last time, so...
Right, you only got one question right, didn't you?
Yeah, that's enough though.
Right. Keith, why Simon?
Again, he had a poor round last time and he had a poor round this round as well, so...
Do you think you had a brilliant round?
Not particularly, no.
No. Terrible, wasn't it?
Well, don't have to tell everybody.
Simon, statistically you're the worst player with
Sorry.
5 votes. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel gutted that I was voted off, but I think I was voted off fairly. Obviously, I didn't get any more questions right. I think the next person to be voted off will be Tom. He's very confident, he's quite knowledgeable, but I think not answering too many questions right in the last round threw him a little bit. I think he might go next.
Round 5, another £4,000 you could have banked by now. You've managed to put in the kitty just £790. 5 of you left, another 10 seconds off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Amanda. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Amanda, which English town on the River Orwell in East Anglia is also the birthplace of Cardinal Thomas Wolsey?
Don't know.
Ipswich. Keith, which tea is the name given to a 3-panel altarpiece?
Pass.
Triptych. Elaine, which 1981 John Landis horror film won an Oscar for Best Makeup?
American Werewolf.
In London. Stuart, which term, also an architectural style, is used to describe the period from 1811 to 1820 when the Prince of Wales acted as ruler in place of his father?
Pass.
Regency. Tom, Terry Major Ball is the brother of which former Prime Minister?
John Major.
Correct. Amanda, name the British athlete who set a new world triple jump record in 1995.
Denise Richards.
Jonathan Edwards. Keith, in geography, the Dead Sea is the lowest point of which continent?
Asia.
Correct. Elaine, which Italian composer wrote the opera The Barber of Seville in 1816?
Rossini.
Correct. Stuart, St. Louis is the largest city in which American state?
Chicago.
Missouri. Tom, John F. Kennedy married who on September the 12th, 1953?
Jackie Onassis.
No, Jacqueline Bouvier. Amanda, in geography, which republic lies approximately 10 miles southwest of Rimini in Italy?
Monaco.
San Marino. Keith, what colour is the star on the Moroccan flag?
Yellow.
Green. Elaine, in British slang, how many pounds sterling are there in a pony?
25.
Correct. Stuart, in geography, what dam is located in the Black Canyon on the border of the US states of Nevada and Arizona?
Aswan.
Hoover. Tom, actor Jack Nicholson starred as the US president in which Tim Burton science fiction film?
Mars Attacks.
Correct. Amanda, which fictional detective had an older brother called Mycroft?
Taggart.
Sherlock Holmes. Keith, what big-selling children's doll from the 1980s celebrated its 15th year anniversary in the year 2000?
Barbie.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Elaine, what name is given to the type of silver which is 92.5% pure?
Sterling.
Correct. Stuart,
Bang.
in history, the gangster Al Capone built up a criminal empire in which American city?
Chicago.
Correct.
Bang.
Tom, which author wrote in the preface to his only novel that all art is quite useless? Time is up, and in that round, you only managed to answer 7 questions correctly, and you banked a pathetic £90. Who is dragging the rest of you down? Who better go and join the other dunces? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
After being the strongest player 3 times, Amanda is now the weakest link, having answered all her questions incorrectly. Will the team vote her off, or will her previous performance save her?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Stuart.
Tom.
Tom.
Keith.
Stuart.
We have a tie. Stuart and Tom, 2 votes each. Amanda, you didn't get a single question right in that last round. Have you lost interest? You need to get home.
Just had a bad round, Anne.
Right. And why Stuart?
I would have voted for myself had I could, but I think he was the next weakest link.
Yeah, well, you've got that right. You statistically were the weakest link. Stuart, you're very fond of answering Chicago. Do you think if you answer it often enough, it might hit the right button?
It worked.
Only once. Why Keith?
Well, I think he had a reasonably poor round that time.
Elaine, you were the strongest link in the last round, and when the vote is tied, you have the choice of who to get rid of, and you can change your mind if you wish. So, who would you like to see the back of, Tom or Stuart?
I think I should stay with Tom.
Why?
That was my original take on it, and I think I'll stick with it.
Right. Tom, Elaine wants you off the team. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel very annoyed because I wasn't the weakest link. I think I was doing quite well. I feel like the victim of tactical voting by Elaine, but in her shoes I would have done precisely the same thing. I guess Amanda and Elaine will go into the final round together. I believe Elaine would win it on general knowledge breadth, but Amanda might get it because she's more up on popular culture.
Round 6, there's £880 in the kitty out of a possible £5,000 you could have won by now. 4 of you left. We're cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Elaine. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Elaine, in 1985, Steven Spielberg directed an adaptation of which prize-winning Alice Walker novel?
Colour Purple.
Correct, Stuart. Andrea, Sharon, Caroline and Jim are the 4 sibling members of which Irish pop group?
Pass.
The Cause. Amanda, what type of protein regulates the rate of chemical reaction in the body?
Don't know.
Enzyme. Keith, which children's classic story contains the poems You Are Old, Father William and Beautiful Soup?
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Elaine, which South African city was previously known as Port Natal?
Buenos Aires.
Durban. Stuart, which chairman of the Communist Party of China died in 1976?
Chairman Mao.
Correct. Amanda, which member of the England football team has written an autobiography entitled My World?
Don't know.
David Beckham. Keith, in TV, what long-running science magazine programme was first presented by Raymond Baxter?
Tomorrow's World.
Correct. Elaine, which is the shortest of Shakespeare's plays?
As You Like It.
The Comedy of Errors. Stuart, which American film composer wrote the music for Star Wars, Superman and Indiana Jones films?
George Lucas.
John Williams. Amanda, in fashion, what nationality is fashion designer Alexander McQueen?
English.
Correct. Keith, what is the American equivalent of Remembrance Sunday?
Thanksgiving.
Veterans Day. Elaine, in which decade did the Cuban Missile Crisis occur?
60s.
Correct. Stuart, in the UK, the fourth Sunday in Lent is commonly known as what?
Thanksgiving.
Mother's Day. Amanda, in which year in the 1970s was the release of the film Get Carter starring Michael Caine?
74.
71. Keith, what word describes a person who is able to use both hands with equal ease?
Ambidextrous.
Correct. Elaine,
Bang.
which supermodel famously took a tumble on a catwalk in 1993 off a pair of 6-inch Vivienne Westwood platform shoes?
Naomi Campbell.
Correct. Stuart,
Bank.
the Master of Cutler is an important dignitary in which city in northern England?
Sheffield.
Correct. Amanda,
Bank.
a swimming pool is 50 metres long. How many lengths will be swum in a 2-kilometre race? 40 is the correct answer. Time is up. And another appalling performance. You banked just £80. Now, who has become a complete drain on the rest of you? Who is too stupid to remain? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Having survived the vote as the weakest link in the previous round, Amanda is again the worst player. For the second time, Elaine is the strongest link. But who will be voted off this time?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Stuart.
Amanda.
Stuart.
Amanda.
Amanda, why Stuart?
I don't think I had a very good round, but Stuart, again, was the next weakest to me.
Stuart, why Amanda?
She started off well, but she's faded in the last couple of rounds.
Do you think you faded a bit?
Well, I never really started very well to fade, so...
Oh, right, OK, as long as you know. Elaine, why Stuart?
I don't think there was a lot to choose between Stuart and Amanda, and Stuart got the short straw.
Right. Well, as you know, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Technically, Amanda was the weakest link, but if you'd rather get rid of Stuart, that's fine. If you want to get rid of Amanda, that's fine. Who would you like to get rid of?
I think I'll be consistent and stay with Stuart.
Right. Stuart, Elaine wants you out. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel that Elaine voted myself off because I did hear her saying earlier on that the women sticking together, so I do feel I was maybe subject of a conspiracy, perhaps. It'll definitely be Keith off next because he's the sole surviving male, and I think it'll be a gender issue next.
Round 7, you have a far from impressive £960 in the kitty out of the 6,000 you could have won. 3 of you left, another 10 seconds off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Elaine. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Elaine, in TV, who was the first person to chair a question of sport in 1970?
Pass.
David Vine. Amanda, in which year did man first set foot on the moon?
1969.
Correct. Keith, which famous gap-toothed British actor who starred in many films of the 1950s and
Terry
60s?
Thomas.
Correct. Elaine, in which
Bang.
English county is the town of Kidderminster situated?
Worcestershire.
Correct. Amanda, which stage musical features the song Old Man River?
Song of the South.
Showboat. Keith, whose version of Stand By Me was re-released as the theme of the 1986 film of the same title?
Pass.
Benny King. Elaine, in history, Corinth was an important city of which modern country?
Greece.
Correct. Amanda, in mythology, which island housing a highly developed civilization is said to have been sunk beneath the waves?
Atlantis.
Correct. Keith, in film, who directed the 1951 movie Strangers on a Train?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Correct. Elaine, in
Bang.
biology, an amoeba is made up of how many cells?
2.
1. Amanda, in science, which metal is extracted from the metal ore bauxite?
Don't know.
Aluminium. Keith, in film, what was John Wayne's real name?
Marion Morrison.
Correct. Elaine, Cornish Rex and Devon Rex are both breeds of which animal?
Cat.
Correct. Amanda,
Bank.
which television programme in 1984 featured the Prince of Wales telling his own story, The Old Man of Loch Nagar?
Jackanory.
Correct. Keith, which artist is known for works such as Rain, Steam and Speed?
Rembrandt.
Turner. Elaine, in what year in the 1940s was conscription for women introduced into Britain?
43.
41. Amanda, in religion, the Islamic monument, the Dome of the Rock, is found in which Middle Eastern city?
Don't know.
Jerusalem. Keith, in literature, what nationality was Hans Christian Andersen?
Dutch.
Danish. Elaine, which Irish-born writer said life does not cease to be funny when people die any more than it ceases to be serious when people laugh?
James Joyce.
George Bernard Shaw. Amanda, whose first UK chart entry? Time is up, and in that round you won £200. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bang. That means in the next round there's £3,000 to be won. The question is, who is least likely to succeed in raising the not very high bank balance? Who do you need to get rid of in order to do better? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a total reversal of fortune, Elaine is now the weakest player, while Amanda is once again the strongest player. But at this crucial stage of the game, how will the voting go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Keith.
Elaine.
Amanda.
Well, team, we have a 3-way tie. Elaine, Amanda and Keith, 1 vote each. Elaine, Why Amanda?
Well, I couldn't vote for myself.
But she was the strongest link in the last round.
I lost track.
Right. That's worrying. Keith, why Elaine?
It was a spin up between the two, really, so
Well, we know that.
I picked Elaine.
Right. Amanda, why Keith?
Again, not much to choose between them, but with Keith being after me, I noticed the questions he got wrong.
Right, well, you will have to choose between them because as the strongest link, you get the deciding vote.
I'd like to change my mind and vote for Elaine.
Would you? Why?
Because I think I stand a better chance of winning.
Oh, I see. We're not playing team playing anymore.
Too late now.
Too late. Right, well. Elaine, it's cost you voting for Amanda. She wants you out. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh, I guess I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's got to happen sooner or later. Well, I voted for Amanda because although she was quite strong in that round, previously she'd had a couple of really awful ones, and I didn't think there was an awful lot to choose. I think Amanda's going to win because she's got a will to win.
Round 8, and of the £7,000 you could have won by now, you have just £1,160. Amanda and Keith, just two of you left, and this time you have only 90 seconds, but whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £3,000 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Amanda. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Amanda, if a 150-gram jar of peanut butter contains 1,500 calories, how many calories would there be in a 50-gram jar?
750.
500 calories. Keith, in geography, which is the nearest major seaside resort to Lancaster and the ferry port of Heysham?
Pass.
Morecambe. Amanda, born in Germany, the scientist Albert Einstein became a citizen of which country in 1940?
Austria.
America. Keith, who directed the British movie The Devils in 1971, starring Vanessa Redgrave and Oliver Reed?
Pass.
Ken Russell. Amanda, in golf, on what course is the Masters played every year?
St Andrews.
Augusta National Golf Club. Keith, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, is the motto of which country?
France.
USA. Amanda, who was the architect of the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum in New York?
Don't know.
Frank Lloyd Wright. Keith, in modern history, which position was Joseph Goebbels appointed to in 1933 under Hitler's Nazi regime?
Vice-Chancellor.
Minister of Propaganda. Amanda, in marine biology, how many tentacles does an octopus have?
8.
Correct. Keith. Buttercup the cow, Mrs. Scrubbit, and Spotty Dog were characters from which 1955 children's TV
The
program?
Woodentops.
Correct. Amanda.
Bank.
In geography, what is the capital of the Australian state of Tasmania?
Don't know.
Hobart. Keith, what type of nuts are used to make pesto?
Pistachio.
Pine nuts. Amanda, where in the British Isles? Time up. That's a remarkable record. You got just 2 questions right. You certainly didn't make it to £1,000. You banked £50. We'll treble that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £1,310. But only one of you can take that money away. So now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Amanda and Keith, for £1,310, let's play the weakest link. Amanda, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go first.
Amanda, which Scottish League football club took its name from the secondary school which its original members attended?
Arbroath.
The correct answer is Hamilton Academical. Keith, according to the legend, which game did Sir Francis Drake insist on completing before leaving England to defeat the Spanish Armada?
Bowls.
That is the correct answer. Amanda, which controversial 1980s British pop group took their name from an old headline about Frank Sinatra's film plans?
Sex Pistols?
The correct answer is Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Keith, the names of how many US states contain the word new?
Three.
Correct answer is 4. Amanda, in science, which 2 letters represent sodium on the periodic table?
CH?
Correct answer is Na. Keith, Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Tony Curtis and which actress?
Janet Leigh.
That is the correct answer. Amanda, you need to answer this question correctly to remain in the game. In mythology, who was the Roman god of fire?
Mercury?
Correct answer is Vulcan. That means, Keith, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £1,310. Amanda, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm absolutely devastated not to have won in the final. If I'd have chosen to go second rather than first, I would have won. But there wasn't much to choose between me and Keith, but I chose the wrong set of questions.
It feels wonderful to have won, considering I was nearly voted out the last 3 and Amanda changed her mind. It was good news for me, and then I came well in the final round.
A serious accident in a quarry involving a 3-year-old boy next on BBC Two in Helicopter Heroes.
He's done it for the first time. He's just so pleased to have done it. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion.
The greatest stage in snooker, the World Snooker Championship from the Crucible, starts Saturday at 1:30 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Would you prefer not to have autism?
But I have autism. That's my life.
We're from the BBC, and we're very pleased to meet you.
To wait 5 years to